That's right, folks. We are back. Garage Door Sports, your favorite show's favorite show. Nick McVicar, alongside some great co-hosts. We got a lot to get to. Playoffs, NFL, and college football. College coaching, NFL coaching. Man, it's been crazy. So you know what? Why don't we get right to it? 2, 3. We good to go? Let's do this. That is right, folks. As I said, Garage Door Sports is back. And I'm so excited. This is one of the best things that I could do right now. We have so much to talk about, so many things to get into. And the one thing I want to say right out of the gate, I will be here every single week with you. I know, that sounds crazy, but I'll be here every week, Wednesday, 7 p.m. Alongside me are going to be some incredible co-hosts. You know Kyle, you know Irfan, but we're going to add to the team. And the first one we're going to add is Haley McGoldrick, one of my best friends, one of the best sports writers in Canada, and also one of the best people in sports. She's going to join us, talk some NFL, some footy, maybe a little hockey too. It's going to be great. She's fantastic. You are going to love her. So, without further ado, why don't we get right into it? And honestly, it's been kind of a crazy, it's been kind of a crazy playoff so far. And I don't know how else to put it. This is one of the most wild card weekends we have ever seen. 4 games decided by a fourth quarter comeback. 4 games decided in the last 3 minutes of the game. 12 lead changes, and that was through the first 5 games of the wild card week. That doesn't even include the Monday Nighter, which admittedly wasn't the best. But I mean, still, this is what we wanted. We want incredible games, and it has not disappointed so far. You look at it, you've had some, I would say interesting matchups. Take out the Houston Steelers game. That wasn't great. We can all admit that, and we'll get to that at some point. But, man, you go back. Rams-Panthers? Get out of here. That was incredible. Panthers holding on, trying, hoping that they can get in. Just can't hold off the Rams. And then you go Bears-Packers. Oh, my cheeseheads lose to the Bears. The Bears, man. Up 21-3 at halftime. And we lose. Lose 31-27. I'm reading wrong scores. That's always a bad idea. 31-27. Get outscored 28-6 in the second half. Get outscored 25-6 in the third quarter. You can't do that. You cannot do that. That is unacceptable in a playoff game. And then you throw in the Sunday games. Bills, Jags. Incredible. 49ers, Eagles. Interesting game at least. And then on top of that, we throw in, the Chargers, Patriots. Another fun game. And yet, here we are. The Chargers-Patriots wasn't as fun. We'll admit it. But 16-3. Defenses looked incredible. man, it's going to be an interesting one. And on top of all that, we have the Monday Nighter, which the Monday Nighter ends with potentially the end of Aaron Rodgers. Like, he got manhandled in this game. Manhandled. He didn't look good at all. And now we have the potential that he might just disappear. Walk off into the sunset. And, I mean, he got beat up by that Houston team. Beat up. You can see right here. They're just beating up on him. Beating up on the poor guy. He got hit. He lost the ball. And he threw a pick six to end it. It's tough. That's tough. But if that is the end of one Mr. Aaron Rodgers, it's a Hall of Fame career. Hall of Fame, for sure. Hall of Fame career. If that is the end, of course. And who knows? It might not be. Maybe it's not. Maybe we see more from him. But, man, it was ugly. It was ugly for him. It was ugly for the whole Steelers offense. That Houston defense made them look bad. They looked bad. And here we go. Here's the pick to end the game. Pick six to end the game. And this might be the worst hit attempt I've ever seen from Aaron Rodgers at the end of it. But I don't know how else to say it other than it was disappointing. But the rest of the weekend was very entertaining. Very entertaining. We got the Bills-Jags, which went down to the wire. Josh Allen got beat up and yet went full Superman mode to get his team into the next round. Picked up his first road playoff victory. You got the Rams-Panthers. Matt Stafford still doing his thing. The Panthers, for their credit, they look good. They look competent, which we haven't been able to say for a while. Sorry, TGI. But the Rams pull it out. And then my Packers. The Pack. You can't give up 28 second half points and only get 6. If you want to win a playoff game in the NFL, you cannot do that. And yet, here we are. Here we are yet again looking at, are they good enough? Is Jordan Love good enough to get them to where they want to go? And this is a Super Bowl team. Anyone who tries to fight me on that is crazy. Because they are a Super Bowl team. They are. That defense has Super Bowl characteristics. The offense has some Super Bowl pieces. But not enough. Not enough. And it's disappointing. Because they are good. And how do I say this without coming across as rude? Is Jordan Love good enough? Now, I know he's been facing a lot of injuries, and he's been dealing with that, and that's fine. we can have that conversation and we can say, hey, gotta be healthy to be good. Fine. And yeah, he showed flashes of being good. I mean, let's look at the stats, right? 24 for 46, 323 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 sack. That's a pretty good line. But you have Caleb Williams on the other side. 24 for 48, 361 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and a sack. And yet he's the one who comes out on top. So we can talk about the receivers not being great. We can talk about Jordan Love maybe isn't the guy. But what it comes down to is you have to put up more than 6 points in the second half. You can't just put up 6 in the second half of a game. That's unacceptable. It is unacceptable. And I don't even know what to make of it. Because it needs to be better. It has to be better. You can't keep losing these kind of games. You can't. Jordan Love, Matt LaFleur, they've been through it. They've been battling. They can't be consistently losing these games. You gotta somehow put up more than 6 points in a playoff game. And we'll bring Kyle in here in a second once we can get him connected. That's where we're at right now, folks. Once he gets connected, I'm curious to see what he has to say on it. Because he watched all the games. We know that. Kyle always watches all the games. And it's an interesting thing. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll bring Kyle in. We'll hit some, we'll talk about this a little bit more. And we'll get into a little bit more of the playoffs. You're listening to Garage Door Sports here on the Equal Ground Media Network. Brand new host. You're listening to us. We'll be right back. All right, folks, we are back. Nick's still here with you, still trying to get Kyle in. We're doing our best. But let's get back to this conversation because Green Bay has got to do better. They got to. They have to be better than what they are. And I know I'm a Packer fan, so it makes it a little bit harder for me to take a step back. But it's the truth. And unfortunately, you have to do more. Every single person needs to do more. Every single person has to do better. The defense was good in the first half. They gave up 3 points. 3 points! But then you give up 28 in the second half. And I keep coming back to Jordan Love because he's the quarterback. He is the leader of the team. And I've said this for years. Well, years. He's really only been the starter for a couple. He is a good NFL quarterback. A good NFL quarterback. But is he great? Is he enough to get you to that next level? And honestly, I struggle to see him doing that. And I hate saying that because I want him to be good enough. I want him to be the guy. But right now he's just not. He's not the guy. He's a guy. He's a passable player, but he's not the guy. And for this team to go where they want to go, they need one of those guys. They need a Josh Allen, a Patrick Mahomes, a Lamar, one of those elite quarterbacks, because the wide receiver room is not good enough. So because of that right there, you have to get a player who is elite of the elite in order to make that change. Now, what does that mean? Like, are they going to go get a Josh Allen? No, you can't go get a Josh Allen. That's not a possibility. But is going to get a guy better than Jordan Love a possibility? Is going to get better receivers a possibility? Yeah, I would say that is the case. And yet, it doesn't look like they're going to do it. It doesn't look like they're going to be able to pull that off. It doesn't look possible. It doesn't look like they have the ability to go and do that. So what does that mean? What does that mean for the Packers? Is it time to maybe get a new coordinator? Maybe. I think they played pretty well most of the season considering how many injuries they had. I really don't know. I want to say this team is there, but they just don't look like it. And because of that, it makes it very hard to believe that they're the next coming. They're going to get there. So I do struggle with that. And it's hard to struggle with that. But where do they go from here? That's the big question. If you're in the chat, let us know. Let us know where the Pack go from here. And hopefully they find it, because it's not looking pretty. But we'll see. Team that's defense looked way too good this weekend, the New England Patriots. Whew. They looked phenomenal in their game, and they beat up on Justin Herbert. And I feel bad for Herbert because he seems to keep getting put in this difficult spot. But his team is just not very good when it comes to the playoffs. They seem to find ways to lose. And finding ways to lose is really hard to do. And it's frustrating, for sure. I guarantee every single player is frustrated by this. And you know they want to find answers. You know they want to figure it out. But on the other side, the Patriots look damn good. Damn good defensively. Going to try to figure out getting Kyle in here for a second. So 1 second, folks. Let's see if we can figure this out live on air. We're going to play this game live. Don't know how good of an idea this is. Um, great content right here. I don't even know how to find you, Kyle. 1 second. We'll figure it out. We will get there. I see him. That's half the battle. But for now, can we hear you, Kyle? One more time? That would be a no. All right. We're going to get Kyle figured out here. Slowly but surely, we'll figure it out. But yeah, the Patriots' defense looked incredible. They stepped up big. They hit Herbert hard. And that's what you have to do against a team like the Chargers. And you got to do it consistently, and that's what they did. They managed to hit him way more than he possibly wanted to. Here we go. Let's see if we can get Kyle in here. Oh, there's actually Kyle. Let's get to the 2 box here.
We got the video.
There we go. We got audio too. Kyle, welcome to the show. It's been a while.
Yeah. It's been an interesting experience. You know, my Zoom decided to crash and I had to re-download it, and it's just been lovely.
Gotta love it. But Kyle, we're back on Garage Door Sports. It's been way too long since we were back on Garage Door Sports. I'm excited. I've been talking about the Patriots here. This is your team, so it's a good time for you to jump in. I already ripped on the Packers for somehow blowing a 21-3 halftime lead to the Bears. Mm-hmm. But your team defense looked so good on the weekend against the Chargers. And I was saying I feel bad for Herbert because he seems to keep getting put in these situations year after year. This year it was 2 offensive line superstars, both out for most of the year. And then when you get to the playoffs, that's when it costs you. What did you think of the Patriots, and how far do you think they might be able to go in this playoff run?
If I'm being honest, I really think this is setting up a AFC East, AFC Championship matchup right now. I really think this is setting up Bills Patriots. That Houston defense watching, I mean, that's a different story, but the Houston defense.
We'll get into that. We'll get into that.
Like that's something that I think this Patriots team, Houston hasn't played an offense like the Patriots in a while. So I'll say this will be an interesting matchup for sure. The defense looked great. I mean, the play calling put Herbert on his heels. In the first half, he didn't get hit that much, if I'm being quite honest. And I think that's at halftime, it was a big adjustment where they went, all right, we're putting pressure on him. Let's go get him. Go after the quarterback and make sure we get to him. Everyone put as much pressure as possible on that offensive line that, as we said, was kind of makeshift and kind of held together by string is essentially what it was.
I mean, I might have been out there. I don't know. I look like me blocking.
I think this really puts a question mark on Justin Herbert's legacy in a way, because everything going on in social media right now is all about the if man. That's what he's being called now. He's being called the if man, which it's, if I had a defense, I would have won this. If the Chiefs didn't do this, I would have won this. If I had an offensive line, I would have done this. And it seems like year after year, if it's not one thing, it's another.
Yeah.
And I still think he's a great quarterback, but at a certain point, you have to find a way to win, no matter what.
Okay, so this brings me back to a conversation I just had with myself about the Packers with Jordan Love. Yeah. And I said, Jordan Love is a good NFL quarterback. And he's shown flashes of being great. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if he's ever going to get to consistently great. And right now, that's what the Packers need. Is Herbert kind of the same thing in the AFC?
I would say it's very similar.
I think Herbert might be a little bit better. Like his base is a little bit better, but he still needs to be that next level to get this team over the hump. And I just haven't seen it. Like, he's shown flashes of being incredible as a quarterback, but he keeps failing when it comes to the playoffs, and that's the most important thing, and we can't seem to get it out of him.
No.
So, is he the Jordan Love of the AFC?
I think there's, and this is my criteria. I think there's franchise quarterbacks.
Yep.
Great quarterbacks.
Yep.
Good quarterbacks.
Yep.
But then I think there's playoff quarterbacks as well.
Okay.
And I think there's playoff quarterbacks that you could be a good playoff, or sorry, a good regular season quarterback. Yeah. But you take that next step in the playoffs. Right? I would say they're good quarterbacks right now. I wouldn't say they're great quarterbacks.
No.
Right? But you look at people that get it done consistently when the time matters, that's a whole different level of a quarterback right now. And I don't think Herbert or Love are in that category.
No. I would agree.
And I think there's only a select few that you could do it. Like, Josh Allen, he wasn't in that category either. He was an elite quarterback during the regular season, but then in the playoffs, it was, ran into Mahomes and it's over. Right?
I might push back on that one a little bit, and only because he played like a playoff quarterback, an elite playoff quarterback. If you look at the stats, if you look what he did, he went down to the wire with Mahomes 3 times in the playoffs.
Yeah,
the problem is he ran into Mahomes and the Chiefs.
And that's why there's a certain level where he has to get it done at a certain point.
Yeah.
So to me, this year, I think is also make or break for Josh Allen in a whole different conversation.
Agreed.
Right? If he doesn't get it done with Mahomes, Burrow, all of them, and Lamar not in the playoffs, what are we talking about here?
It's a great question.
It's going to be one of those. I think that'll be a different question. But again, Love and Herbert, yes, I do think they're in the same kind of package. I would say that. I would give the edge to Herbert, if I'm being honest, just more talent-wise.
I would agree.
But it's very, very similar situation, and it's kind of terrifying if you're the Chargers that, Love is kind of your peak, I guess is what you could say.
Comparable.
I also do think I do think Love also got a short end of the stick because he was in line. Favre was there, Rodgers comes in, Rodgers is there, Love comes in, right? And he's expected to be Aaron Rodgers or Brett Favre, like that's what he's expected to be in Green Bay.
Yep.
And I just don't think he's that guy. Like I think he's a good quarterback again, but he's not going to be that guy that's franchise altering. They can build it around him.
Yeah.
Like, I still think they need a franchise wide receiver. That's a whole separate story. Because they just have a bunch of good guys right now.
Yeah.
But you kind of compare, you look at the wide receiver core. The same with the Chiefs. Like, the Chiefs don't have a star. I don't think Rashee Rice is a star, but Mahomes is that guy to take those guys to the next level.
Yeah.
That's that type of thing.
Yeah, that's fair.
Love's not the type of guy that's going to make Christian Watson a top wide receiver in the NFL. It's just not that type of guy. So.
To be fair, how many quarterbacks can make any receiver elite? Right? Like, we're talking Mahomes can make anybody good. We're talking Allen can probably make anybody good, and we're seeing that with the Bills. I don't think they have an elite receiver at all, and he's just making plays happen.
Yeah, I mean, Shakir's severely underrated, but he's not an elite receiver by any means.
No, he's very good, but I'm saying, there's no Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson on any of these teams. But they are getting wins despite that, and that's what makes a good quarterback. The Packers do not have that, and they haven't had that. Have they ever had a legitimately elite receiver in the time from Favre, Rodgers, Love?
Donald Driver was arguably an elite wide receiver.
Okay, I'll give you Driver, but
Jordy Nelson at his peak, I would say, would be.
Okay.
But wasn't really considered a top 5 guy by any means. But you would take him on your team in a heartbeat.
100%. I would say he was a really a great receiver, but I'm talking the elite of the elite.
No, and I think that's a pretty accurate statement. They never had that. I mean, you look at Packers fans; they've been asking for them to draft a wide receiver for years and years and years.
Finally, get Golden.
They draft backup lineman instead of a quarterback, or a backup lineman instead of a wide receiver or something like that.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, they freak out. You draft Golden this year, and he gets his first touchdown in the playoffs. So, that kind
I
of.
mean, he was hurt for part of the year, so there's also that.
Yeah. I mean, you also, I don't think Jaden Reed or Romeo Dobbs are that type of a guy either. But
No, none of them are tops. They're
a bunch of average
twos or
good wide
threes.
receivers on that team.
Yeah,
correct.
They're twos or threes.
Yeah,
and that's fine.
So I mean, hey, if Green Bay wants to call up Minnesota, a division rival, try and go get Jefferson out of there, that will give you your number one. Will they do an interdivision trade?
Not
there's a snowball's chance in hell.
Yeah,
but
not a chance.
It's definitely one of those things. Like, you look at some of the top teams, you look at Josh Allen. Like, does Josh Allen go and try and get, if Jefferson is not happy with the Vikings, like that type of thing, right? That could be imagine Josh Allen throwing to Justin Jefferson. Oh. That would be elite. Oh. As a Patriots fan, I would absolutely hate it. I mean, that combo would be elite.
That would be nasty. So, that would be awesome to watch. Like, as a neutral person, that would be so much fun to watch.
Oh, totally.
But, yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, that would be a tough look for Patriots because you'd have to face them in the playoffs probably every other year.
Let alone a division twice a year. Like,
yeah. It's not going to happen.
So,
but
yeah, I think Green Bay's got to look. I think they got to look at, does it take a number one wide receiver, or is Love just not the guy? Right? Maybe they go out and draft a guy in the second round. Maybe they look at like a Chambliss or something like that coming out of Ole Miss, right? Like, maybe that's the type of guy they think could take him to the next level. Who knows?
Yeah, it's a fair shout. I'm interested to see what actually does happen because there's a lot of questions. And I mean, we can go back to the Pack. There's questions for them for sure. I'm interested to see which quarterbacks come out in the draft now because Dante Moore announced he was returning to Oregon. So there goes the presumptive number 2.
Well, I mean, that's hilarious, too, because now Raiola is backing him up in Oregon, and that's just hilarious.
Yeah. So I'm interested to see what happens in that draft with the quarterbacks because Mendoza looks legit. He'll go to the Raiders. They need to stock up on offensive linemen and free agency. Thankfully, there's a ton going into free agency, so they'll have some options as long as they can sign somebody. But if they can get a legitimate offensive line there, Mendoza, Genty, Bowers, those are 3 pretty good pieces on the offensive side. You get a receiver or 2. That defense can be good. They're probably missing a couple pieces, but that can be good. They've shown flashes of it this year when they weren't good as a team. Imagine they get good and cause problems out west. Whew.
I mean, it'd be 4 solid teams in the division. Like, the Chargers and the Broncos are not going anywhere. The Chiefs, once Mahomes gets back, you would hope would be back there. I mean, I think there's a very real chance that Kelsey's probably done after this year, if I'm being honest.
I would think so.
But it's one of those, like, that division all of a sudden becomes very interesting because you don't know necessarily who's going to come out of there.
Yeah.
I mean, you have a good idea, like the way the Chargers are. Once they get their offensive line back, they should be there. Broncos look like they're here to stay. So, but that the Raiders are going to be that 2-3 seed type of thing that might sneak in with a 9 wins type of situation. Get a wild card spot.
Who knows? Could we potentially see all 3 wild cards from one division finally?
No.
Worth a shot.
No, because as long as the Bills and Pats are going back and forth, one of them is going to get a wild card.
That's true. That is true. Yeah. All right, let's flip to the other defense that stood out big this weekend, and it's the Texans. And I already kind of talked about it. They beat up on Rodgers. If this is the end of Aaron Rodgers, Hall of Fame, first ballot, good for you. Congratulations. Also, good riddance because I don't want to see you anymore.
Honestly, kind of hilarious that his last pass in the NFL might be a pick 6.
Yes, I'm so happy that you brought that up because I want that to be the case. But let's talk about the Texans. I want to focus on them because they won the game. I want to stay positive, and we'll get to Tomlin after this. But let's start with the positive, and the positive is the Houston Texans, and they steamroll the Steelers, as we already talked about. Biggest blowout of Wild Card weekend. The defense stepped up big, and I think the question now becomes, is C.J. Stroud good enough, or is he the Achilles heel of this team this season? Because he's a good quarterback. He is. I think he's kind of in that Love category right now. And Herbert, he's a good quarterback. But is he enough to get them where they potentially could go with this defense? Because we're talking about a potentially all-time great defense in Houston right now. They were number one in the season for a reason, and they looked so good. I know that Steelers' offensive line wasn't great, but they made play after play after play on the defensive side. They held Pittsburgh to nothing. So what's the next step? What is next for this team? Because at some point, we got to have that conversation about, okay, they have the elite defense, but is Stroud the problem?
Well, I think this is going to be a real test for them, to be honest, because this is his third year. He's coming into his fourth year. They got that fifth-year option for him coming up after next year. So they're going to have to make that decision real quick if he's the guy. I think you look at it. I think Houston's offensive line is also terrible too, if I'm being quite honest.
It's not great.
So like Pittsburgh's D is no slouch. Let's give them credit there.
Yeah.
They put pressure on him all night. They made him look terrible on some throws. Like there's a couple throws he threw straight to the Houston defense, and I'm like, who? Or so the Steelers defense. I'm like, who are you throwing this to?
Who was that? Why did we do that?
Were, like the one on the goal line, like they're on like the 15-yard line. He throws the ball straight to the safety. I'm like, where is the wide receiver you're throwing to? There's nobody in the area.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's going to be a huge test for them going forward because I highly doubt Nico Collins plays this week. I mean, he's got the concussion, so it'll be a real test. Is Christian Kirk going to be wide receiver one? Like, is that the guy to go to? I don't know. I think it's going to be a real test. We were talking before about Love and that kind of stuff and needing to get those games to carry their team. This is Stroud's put up or shut up moment right now. Can he be that guy to take a team that's broken, has some injuries, past a team that is on paper looks better than you? Right?
Yeah.
Can you get over that hump? Can you be that guy? That's the ultimate question. So I think their defense is going to play lights out. You got the two-headed monster on the D ends right now.
Yep.
You got the human torpedo Al Shahir in the secondary, just taking out any superstar that exists. Yep. And you got Stingley, arguably a top 3 to 5 corner in the NFL.
Yep.
So that defense,
I'd like to point out, all the Steelers fans at work said Stingley wasn't going to shut down DK Metcalf, and I laughed so hard.
Ironically enough, I think it ended up being Rodgers that shut him down because he didn't target him in the second half instead of the first quarter. So because Stingley didn't travel with him, right? So that's the other thing too. So it's one of those, a defense like that, they're going to have to get minimum 3 takeaways, if I'm being honest, against the Patriots team, because I can guarantee you the Patriots are going to have at least 1 or 2 against that Houston offense.
Yeah.
So it's going to be the takeaway battle. It's going to be who can get more, and it's going to be a field position. I like Fairbairn, so I think if Houston can get in field goal range, I think that's going to be huge. Is making sure and getting those points on the board. Yeah. You look at the Chargers.
Every 3 points is going to be so valuable.
Totally. I mean, you look at the Chargers. The Chargers should not have gone for it on fourth down.
No.
I get it. You want to make a statement. You want to go for it on fourth down, get the touchdown. I understand that. It's the playoffs.
Yep.
You put points on the board.
Yep.
And you go from there. If the Chargers put the points on the board, it's 6-6 at half. Right? You have completely different momentum. It's a different game, right? Instead of the Patriots playing ahead and coasting and not having to do anything special, it's a tie game. You can flip it on the
everything happens right there. Once it's a tie game, the whole momentum changes.
Totally. And that's I think that's what Houston's got to do this week is they have to put the pressure on, get the turnovers, put points on the board, and make the Patriots play from behind. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. It is totally true. And it's hard to say. I mean, it's going to be a defensive battle. There's no doubt about it. These are 2 of the best defenses in the league for a reason. And there's going to be some really good rushing potentially too, because Woody Marks and Nick Chubb looked pretty good as a duo on the weekend. I know Chubb only had 48 yards, but as a pair, they got 160 yards total against the Steelers, who, as you said, aren't a terrible defense to begin with.
Yeah.
And we know the Patriots' run game is big, and it's going to have to be big for them to have success in the playoffs. And their top two guys averaged, well, not average, they put up 119 rush yards. That would be Drake May and Ramondre Stevenson. And then you throw in another 27 yards from Travion. Like, we could see some rush numbers in this game, but can either quarterback step up and be the guy? They had almost identical stats on the weekend. Drake May, 17 for 29, 268 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He had 5 sacks. Stroud, 21 for 32, 250 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 3 sacks.
Yeah. So
not the best.
No. I think it's, as I said, I think it's going to be a huge defensive battle. I mean, if you're a betting guy, take the under 100%.
Yeah, easily.
But I think it's going to be one of those, how does New England use Travion? I think that's going to be a big key.
Yep.
Ramondre looked unreal. Like, he looked like old school Ramondre, but Butterfingers is about to come out. So so it's going to be about Travion. Can he break one of those big ones to the outside?
Yeah,
right.
I agree.
Couldn't break it against the Chargers. Can he break one here? Woody Marks, I don't know if he's got a question mark coming in, because I know he had a little bump with his head. I think he had a concussion or something, or maybe it wasn't.
He bumped his head for sure. I know what you're saying.
Yeah. So I don't know if he's coming in with a question mark to the game, which means you might have to rely on Nick Chubb, which would be a whole different question mark.
Yeah, I mean, he looked good. Not great, but he looked good in the game.
Oh, totally. And as a Patriots fan, the Patriots' run defense looks completely different when Milton Williams is there too.
Yeah.
So that's a big key for them, having him healthy. I guarantee this game is going to be within a touchdown.
Yeah,
sure.
I can almost guarantee that. Like, you take if the spread is 7, you take the team and that's not favored for sure.
Plus points in the under.
Plus points, baby. The other big thing coming out of this weekend, we talked about the games, is the head coaches. Because big news yesterday, Mike Tomlin steps down as Steelers head coach after 19 seasons. 19 seasons without a losing record. He is one of the greatest coaches of this generation. I think that's fair to say.
Yep.
But now becomes the coaching carousel, and I don't know if this is a problem, but I think it's worth asking if it's a problem. There's 9 teams with head coaching vacancies right now. And I'll list them off. It's the Steelers, obviously, the Ravens, who let go of Harbaugh, Falcons, Giants, Raiders, Browns, Cardinals, Dolphins, and Titans. 9 teams in the NFL. We're talking more than 25% already have a head coaching vacancy. And now that Harbaugh, Stefanski, and, Tomlin are all available, could we potentially see more changes, right? They might not be vacancies necessarily, but they might get hired for a team who already has a head coach, which would mean another head coach change in the same offseason. So we could see 9 plus in this offseason. Is this a problem across the league? And I mean, we can bring this to other leagues as well, because the NHL had like 12 head coaching changes from the beginning of last season into this season, and we've already seen one as Dean Evison just got dropped by the Blue Jackets and Rick Bowness was signed. Is this becoming a huge problem in sport where coaches are expendable despite how good they might be just because the team thinks they need to make a change?
I mean, I think it's come down to a lot of owners and ownership are just tired of mediocrity. It really comes down to it. And I think you're not going to see another Tomlin. You're not going to see another guy that's there for 20 or 15 plus years, right? I guess he was, one year short of a 20-year anniversary, I guess what you could say. You're just not going to see it unless they're consistently winning. And Tomlin was not a winner in the playoffs. It's simple as that.
Yeah.
It's simple as, he had a great record in the regular season. They were consistently 9-8 or 10-7, never really higher than that very often, but they were consistently 9-8 and 10-7, but would fly out in the wild card and get knocked out. So he
hasn't won a playoff game since 2016.
Correct. And if you take, I think I saw a stat today. I think if you take away the Super Bowl run, he's like 3-17 in the playoffs or something like that. Which obviously taking away a Super Bowl run is kind of hard to do, but like I think it's something like that. So it's tough. And honestly, I don't see, unless you consistently have an owner doesn't want new blood or something like that, you're going to have coaches change over every 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
Without consistent winning. So,
yeah.
I mean, I also like the fact that Tomlin stepped down. Right, Pittsburgh retains his rights. He can't sign with any other team. He has to be traded. Very much like the Sean Payton situation with New Orleans a while ago. Right, so Pittsburgh can get something for him if he does want a head coach. I don't think he coaches next year, if I'm being quite honest. I think he takes a break. I think he does the Jason Garrett situation, goes and does some broadcasting for a year, and then reevaluates where he wants to go.
Yeah, I could see this being him done as a head coach, because I could see him loving doing TV. He's a guy who screams TV host or TV analyst. Like, he will be so good in that role.
Totally.
But yeah, I agree with you. And by the way, the stat is if you take out the one Super Bowl run, he was 5-12 as a coach in the playoffs.
So not nearly that. But.
And then if you take out the other run that they had to the Super Bowl when they were AFC champions, that's another 2 wins. So we're looking at
so it was
3-11. Because the one loss in the Super Bowl.
Ah, right. Okay. So it's probably a 1. I thought it was a 7, dyslexia, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Sure. We'll go with that. Yeah, the fact that teams are going to go through these changes all the time, like, look at the Jets. They've had how many coaches? Or actually, you know what? Let's go with the Raiders. The Raiders are still paying 4 head coaches.
Yep.
The Steelers have had 3 head coaches since 1969. And the Raiders are paying 4 head coaches and will be paying a 5th when they hire somebody.
Correct.
It's just, at some point you have to either reevaluate how you're scouting these coaches and making these decisions, because you shouldn't be going through a coach every single year. You know what I mean? Like, if you're going through a coach every year, that means you're making a poor decision at the beginning and you don't trust that decision to start with. You're just making a decision for the sake of making a decision. And that's not okay. That's not fair to the person that you're putting in that spot. That's not fair to the coach. That's not fair to the team who is going to be playing with a coach that you don't have faith in. So why are we consistently seeing this more and more? We're not even talking mediocrity at this point. You're not even letting them be mediocre.
Yep.
You're cutting bait before they can become mediocre and become a problem. You're already out the door.
I think it's almost a catch-22 if I'm being honest, because Pete Carroll should never got another job. He was out the door realistically. Should be, if you want to do broadcasting or just retirement home, either one. But I realistically think you got to look at who you're hiring too. A lot of these coaches that are being fired, unfortunately, they're very defensive minded outside of Miami. Like, they're very defensive minded coaches, and I don't think that's how the NFL's working right now. I think if you're a head coach, you have to be an offensive mind. Like, you look at McVay and that kind of stuff. All these successful head coaches are offensive minded. I mean, you look at Vrabel's a separate thing.
Yeah, but that's also a different situation, because he's trying to bring back the Patriot way that he was a part of, right? So he knows how to build the culture.
He's also had success.
Yeah.
A lot of these new coaches that are defensive minds have not had success, right? And that's just an issue, right? Yeah. Carroll was a different story. He's an older coach with a younger roster. It just doesn't add up properly.
It didn't work.
Correct. And
and also Chip Kelly was not the right OC for that team. I don't know why that they thought that was going to work.
No, like to me, and like I think Stefanski's a really good coach.
Yes.
Going to a different team, so I think Stefanski's going to sign on with a better group. I mean, the Browns are just an absolute cluster. You know what?
Yep.
And it's just, I think getting Stefanski, like if he goes to Baltimore, that's an unreal lineup for Stefanski, because I think he can work magics with that offense and get them where they need to be.
Yeah.
Right. So like I think it's just you got to really reevaluate who you're looking at. I think the next big, college guy coming out, I think it's Marcus Freeman from Notre Dame,
Yeah.
right? I think
Well, we know
he's got
Signetti's not coming out, so
no. I mean, he's not going anywhere. That's
no,
for sure. Especially if
he's
he
so
wins
happy.
the Natty. That's a whole other story.
Yeah.
But I mean, to me, I look at Freeman like he's got control of that Notre Dame locker room. He's got the guys, fully behind him, and I think that's a great thing to look at for one of these coaches. There's a lot of coaches that come in that I don't know if have the room. I don't know if they have the respect of all these guys coming in, and I think that's a big issue too.
Yeah, and I think you brought up Vrabel, and there's a point that I want to talk about. And you mentioned he's the defensive guy, and he is, and obviously he is. We all know that. But he's been smart enough in both places that he's been a head coach to put a good OC in place.
100%.
And that's, I think, what we're missing, or what some of these coaches who were let go, not all of them, obviously there's 9, but a lot of them haven't been able to put an offensive or defensive coordinator, if they happen to be an offensive guy, in place to balance them out.
Yep.
Right? Vrabel did that with McDaniels. It's working. Obviously, we know that. And some of the best head coaches, like if we're talking not Pete Carroll, I'm blanking. Chiefs coach.
Andy Reid.
Thank you. Reid. Reid put great coordinators in place. As good of a coach as he is, he knows that he needs good coordinators in place. And by having that, it takes the pressure off of you for half of the ball at least, if you could put a coordinator that is your opposite. And I think if you're looking at, as a defensive head coach, so I'm just going to use Harbaugh as an example, right?
Yeah.
If I'm Harbaugh and I'm going to get a position, I'm just going to use the Falcons as an example because they're open. He goes to the Falcons. You have to get a good OC in place. And maybe it's Mike McDaniel from Miami or something like that. Like someone who can talk offense and just focus on the offense. You should not have a hand in that. All of these defensive guys need to find that guy to go with them and be their other half of the coaching tree, because it's not working when it's just you and you have to call plays, or you are forcing your way into the other side of the ball that you're not a specialist on. That's what we're seeing. I think that's the biggest thing that we're seeing this season with the coaching firings, is that if you don't have that opposite coordinator, you're in trouble.
Well, I mean, even without the firing the head coaches, I mean, you look at like Detroit this year with their OCs. Obviously, lost Ben Johnson, and they lost what's his name, defense coordinator,
Aaron Glenn.
Aaron Glenn. There you go.
I'm shocked I had
both.
that.
I had it, and I'm like, I don't want to say the wrong thing, to be honest. Right, lost their OC. Dan Campbell had to take over. Didn't work out for Detroit. Right, they're gonna have to really invest in an OC this year.
Yep.
To try and get that team back.
Yep.
They should have been a playoff team. They were not a playoff team.
Yeah.
Right. Like that type of situation where people don't understand how big these OCs are. Like they don't understand OC, DC, like making sure that you have the right guys in place. That's the big. I mean, you look at the Eagles. The Eagles have a Super Bowl roster.
Yep.
They did not have a Super Bowl caliber offense coordinator.
No.
And I think
that's
that
why
goes
he's
back
gone.
and that's why he's gone. And that goes back on Sirianni, because that's another Sirianni miss of hiring an offense coordinator. Last time the ownership hired an offense coordinator was Kellen Moore. What'd they do that year? They won the Super Bowl.
Yeah. And
right?
who were the coordinators before Moore?
Yeah. Sorry?
Who were the coordinators before Moore?
It was hired by Sirianni, who was then fired.
No. No, once before Moore, Steichen, who was a pretty good one.
Sorry. Yes.
And then there was one more guy before Moore, wasn't there? Oh, no, it was after Moore. The guy after Moore got fired.
Yes.
Yeah,
the last two that were hired by Sirianni were fired.
Right. And the two that were hired by the owners are now head coaches in the NFL.
Correct.
So what does that tell you?
Well, it just shows that you need a bigger vetting process, and sometimes these head coaches don't actually know what they need.
Yeah.
Because I think, honestly, if the Eagles don't have another good year, I think Sirianni is next on the chopping block. So
yeah, potentially. I mean, Doug Peterson got 3 years after he won the Super Bowl in Philly before he was let go, and we're through year one.
Yeah, I think it's 2 max, because I think that roster is a whole. I mean, that's a whole different conversation we can have later on with that whole roster and where it's going to go.
Yeah, that'll be an off-season conversation.
But that'll be that's a big question mark, because I know Eagles fans are pissed, and they're pissed off about Patullo for sure.
Yeah, they were not happy.
Yeah,
rightfully so to some extent as well.
Totally.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where all these head coaches end up. Let's flip over to the college football, because the final of the college football playoff happens on Monday. And boy, do the Indiana Hoosiers look pretty good.
Yep.
They have dominated every single game in the playoffs so far. Is this potentially the best college football team we've seen? Like, and we'll limit it to our lifetime, Kyle, because obviously we can't go back and see it. If we think of the LSU Tigers from 2019, the Notre Dame teams from early 2000, a couple of the Michigan, Ohio State, Bama teams, where they were just unstoppable forces.
Yep.
And yet, if you look at the stats, I'm pretty sure Indiana has the highest margin of victory out of all of those teams.
Yep.
I think they have one of the highest points per game out of all of those teams, and the fewest points against out of all of those teams. This is a historic team so far, and they got one more game to lock down the magical run. Do you think they have enough to do it?
I mean, I think they wiped the floor with Miami, if I'm being quite honest.
Really?
I do. I think this team is kind of like a team of destiny type of situation. I think, how bad Indiana football has been at that university. This is kind of like potentially that takeoff point, I guess what you could say.
Yeah.
And ironically enough, like you think about the other teams, I do think the 2019 LSU team is better in my personal opinion, but I think that is more just star power than anything else.
Yeah.
Like you look at this Indiana team, what's the star power? Mendoza? Like we
wasn't
don't,
he an
we don't
undrafted, or wasn't he like a 3-star recruit or something?
That's the thing. We don't know enough about these players yet to talk about them in the right mind, right? Who knows? Maybe in the next 2 years, some of these guys come out, they're all first-round picks, and they're all doing that kind of stuff. But we don't know that.
No,
right?
We have no idea.
So right now, this Indiana team is so impressive because they don't have the star power that all these other powerhouses did, right? You think about Miami back with the Ray Lewis days and that kind of stuff, like those powerhouse teams, right? You look at the star power on those teams and it's insane. Like Clinton Portis was carrying water bottles, and he was a star in the NFL, but he was the 4th string running back in Miami. Like it's like that type of situation, and it's insane. So I think this Indiana team is really good, and I think down the road we might view them as the best team of all time. We'll see. But I think that's more to come once we see how everybody progresses out of university, because I think that's kind of sways people of, well, this guy's a star in the NFL, played for that team. All of a sudden that team's a lot better now.
Yeah.
Right. You look at LSU, Burrow, Chase, Jefferson, that kind of stuff. Big names that came out of that team. But this Indiana team's putting up the same numbers, if not better. So
yeah. And that's the scary thing, right?
Yeah.
Is that not only are they putting the numbers up, but they're doing it with like no problems. Like if you go back to I'm going to look this up, because I'm pretty sure that LSU team had some close games. I know they blew a bunch of teams out, don't get me wrong, but I'm pretty sure they had some close games, right?
Oh, totally. And I think it's that defense. That Indiana defense is unreal.
So good.
All right. And I think you compare like the LSU. The LSU was offense, right? It was offense first, and they had a good defense, but it wasn't like their defense carried them through things. Indiana's defense is carrying them through things, but their offense is good enough to put up points at the same point. It's not as if it's a slouch offense and just carried by defense. Their defense is top, but a good offense.
And they have a very good offense.
100%.
They have a better points per game than that LSU team did in 2019.
That's saying something.
That's saying a lot.
Yeah.
LSU's run in the playoff, they played Oklahoma in round one. They beat them 63-28. So they blew them out.
Yep.
But they gave up 28 points.
Yep.
And then they beat Clemson in the final 42-25. Indiana is averaging 11 points against per game this season. That is wild.
That's insane. Yeah,
that is wild.
Especially
good.
In the college football world we're in now, where it's pass heavy, high scoring points. Like, not a whole lot of great defenses in general.
No. You're looking at one of the best all around teams of all time. I will agree with you that LSU was definitely star heavy. All the 5-star recruits, blue chip prospects, everything. They had it all. Indiana might be the best pure team ever to play a single season in college football. And that's saying a lot considering where Indiana came from 2 years ago.
Totally.
As a Michigan fan, it's very hard to see Indiana being good. I don't know if I like it.
Well, I mean, that's beside the point. But I mean, this Indiana team is special, and that's why I honestly think they get it done. Like,
I do too.
No slouch to Miami. They've had a great run in the playoffs. You can still argue whether they should have been in the playoffs or not. That's a whole different set.
It's hard to argue now.
That's the thing. It's hard to argue now. They look like a great team. I think Carson Beck, I mean, you're talking about quarterbacks in the draft. We'll see where he goes in this one.
Yep.
But I just think this Indiana team's on a run. I think they're this team of destiny. Like, they're gonna get it done. I think they're 8.5, 9-point favorites. I think now they were 8.5 earlier.
That's a great
I think
question. I don't know.
Something like that.
See if I can find it. I'll find it. You look.
But it's just one of those. I just don't think Miami has enough. I think Miami had the run. They've gotten through the teams they should get through. They've beaten some teams they shouldn't have, but they haven't faced a team like Indiana. So, like, this, I think the defense shuts it down. I think Carson Beck probably throws like 2 picks. I think he tries to do too much.
3 touchdowns, 2 picks.
Yeah, I could see. I don't even know if he throws 3 touchdowns, to be honest. His Indiana defense, it might be like a 2-2 situation, and one of those might be with a minute and a half left, and they're down by 20, right? Or 40. It could be one of those. Who knows? It could be one of those where like Miami's just trying to get some points and trying to make it look a lot better of a game than what it actually was.
Yeah, that's totally fair, and I mean, Beck might have done the most for his draft stock this college football playoff run, but I just don't think that team has enough to compete with Indiana. Indiana has given up 25 points across 2 playoff games against Alabama and Oregon.
And that Oregon team, everybody thought was going to put up 30-plus points because, like, their offense was so much of a powerhouse.
And they were all year.
Saying that, like, they were playing like a 6th-string running back, but
he was. The funny thing was he had a good game.
100%. But it's like, it was like everybody thought Oregon was going to go in there and it was going to be a shootout.
Yeah,
they thought it was going to be a light, and then all of a sudden Indiana's defense goes, "No, you forgot about us. Sorry.
Yeah,
you forgot how good we were." Right? And Miami hasn't played a team like that.
No.
So it's one of those. We will see. But yeah, this Indiana team is something different.
This Indiana team is something different. It is so entertaining to watch, and I'm excited for Monday. It's going to be a great game.
Can we talk about how they have 2 weeks off, by the way?
Yeah, a week and a half.
For college football? Like, what are we doing? Play the next week. It's college football.
Forget play the next week. I get that you don't want to play on Saturday, Sunday. Fine, whatever. Play on Friday. Yeah. Why are we not playing on Friday?
Do Thursday, do Friday, do something. Like, if
but
you
what?
want to compete with the NFL,
go Friday. Think about this.
Sure.
Okay? Let's actually talk about this from a purely entertainment standpoint. Okay? You want, albeit probably some drunk fans, people at a sports bar, people out at restaurants.
Yep.
Right? And then the diehards are going to watch whenever. So it doesn't really matter when you put the game on. They will be there.
Correct.
What better night to have people out at restaurants or at the bars than Friday night at the end of a long week when people just want to go enjoy the start of their weekend? There's no NFL like Saturday night this weekend. There's no hockey that's going to compete because we're middle of the season, right? Basketball's middle of the season, doesn't even compare. Put the game on Friday night this week. Why Monday? Why delay it even more? The last game was played last Friday night.
Yeah.
Why are we delaying this? This is ridiculous. No
Yeah,
team needs a week and a half.
Well, the other thing, stop thinking you're the Super Bowl. Let's be real. You don't need that gap week to get players ready.
Well, it's not even a full week. It's 3 extra days.
But it's like your college football players.
Yeah.
Go out in the field.
Yeah.
Just go. Like, and like to me, like that's. I also think they need to rework the playoffs. It's a whole different situation.
That's an off-season conversation. That is not a today conversation.
No, but it's just one of those, like, to me, just get them on the field, get the game going, and get peak value for what you're bringing. Because I think there's a chance that you lost a little bit of people's interest because it's such a big gap.
Yeah, I would agree. And it sucks because I've actually enjoyed watching these playoffs. It's been fun.
Yep.
Right? Like, you go back, first round, I know Oregon beat the crap out of James Madison, but I actually thought James Madison played pretty well in that game. They lost 51-34.
Yep.
They didn't play horribly. Alabama-Oklahoma was a fun game. 34-24.
Shouldn't have been in the playoffs, to be honest, but that's
right.
Story.
And then you look at the Ole Miss-Georgia game in the quarterfinals, semifinals. Miami-Ole Miss was fantastic all the way down to the wire. There's been some really good games. Miami
100%.
beating up Ohio State, too. Sorry, Haley. There have been good games. But now we're waiting. We're stuck waiting, and then that momentum that you built disappears.
Correct.
Because the NFL playoffs started.
That's the biggest thing, is capitalizing on that momentum. Like, I think their mindset is, well, we'll tease it, we'll give it, and then it'll bring everybody back again. No. Everybody's now fully invested in the NFL playoffs. Like, that's what it is. Right?
Yeah.
And I think, yes, it's the Monday after the Sunday games, right? You're going to get all the football fans riled up on the Sunday in NFL, and hey, you can watch college the next day. But I think they missed the boat. I think if you want to put on a big spectacle, do a big thing on Thursday, do interview processes, do media, do whatever you want on the Thursday, games on the Friday, capitalize on that momentum.
Yeah. And then, listen, I know we don't have to focus on this because it's college sports, and we all know what college sports is nowadays. But the first word of that is college. You don't want these athletes necessarily missing a whole week of classes. I get that. Fine, whatever. But yeah, fly them out Wednesday night. Do your media Thursday.
Yep.
Play the game Friday. Why are we complicating this?
Yep.
Each team gets a walkthrough Thursday before their media. I mean, the players don't even really do that much media pregame anyway. So you're just having the coaches anyway.
I mean, if you want to make it a spectacle, like basically try and be like the Super Bowl, but for college football,
yeah,
you can do your media day, right? You can get your stuff in that way. You can have that type of situation, but you don't need more time than that.
You don't. You really don't. And it's just frustrating to see it now that we're doing this again and again and again. Shouldn't be happening. But
no.
What are you going to do? Anyways, Kyle, that's all I got for you, buddy.
All good. I was sorry. I apologize for being late, but yeah,
it's
it was
all good, man. Hey, we had a good time. It was fun. Mm-hmm. I'm not upset. We're
set up for going forward.
We got the show up and running. We are ready to go. And now, Kyle, it is time to head out. And head out we will. Because, oh my, we have so many things going on right now. There we go. Got too many graphics going up at the same time. But Kyle, it's been a blast. Every Wednesday now, folks, tune in, 7 p.m. Eastern on YouTube. We will bring you the best topics in sports because we are your favorite sports show's favorite sports show. You like that? No? You don't? Okay. I thought Kyle was going to like that more. Anyways,
I like it.
we are excited to be back. It's been too long. We have a great group of co-hosts. So, Kyle, thank you again for joining me, brother. We will be back.
Buddy.
Don't you worry, folks. And when we are back, might be Kyle, it might be somebody else stuck with me. We'll see. Who knows? But until then, thank you for listening. We will see you next time.